Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about a recent development that seems to be taking place in the western region of Myanmar, where a military group by the name of Chin Army, it has closed in and captured a very important military base in the Chin state of the Myanmar that also shares border with the Mizoram of India. So inch by inch is the strategy that this military group has undertaken, and they have achieved success against the military junta of Myanmar. Now in the mountains of western Myanmar, when news reporters went to cover this issue, they found photographs of many fallen fighters in the line or wall of rebel headquarters, where almost 80 young men were honored who lost their life in the fight against the military junta of Myanmar, beginning with 28-year-old Salai Chung Naopiang, who was killed in May 2021. Now, the true toll on the Chin National Defense Forces, this is the rebel forces made up of the Chin people who want to remove the control of Myanmar's military, Myanmar's junta, which is currently having control over the entire region of Myanmar, and they basically are fighting continuously for past 3 years. So the true troll extend beyond this hall and grows. Obviously, the casualty has risen as war against Myanmar military grinds on in the Chin state. Now we talk about the Myanmar in general. Majority of the people of Myanmar are the followers of Buddhism. Now we talk about the Chin state. It is a Christian region of the country. As we discussed, it borders India, where ethnic Chin fighters have expelled the military from most of the territory, and they are going to have a complete control over this particular state. Now, what area we are talking about? So if you take a look at the map of Myanmar, and this we can see is the border areas of India, where you have basically two states, one Manipur in the north, and then you have Mizoram in the south. So this area that is in purple is what represents the Chin region or the Chin state of Myanmar, and it is this state where you have a large population of Chin ethnic group. As we can see from the ethnic composition map as well, Myanmar is a heterogeneous country made up of several different ethnic groups, the majority of them being Bamar, and Bamars inhabit the plain areas, the central part and the eastern part of Myanmar. So apart from Bamar, then you have the Chin, that is another important group. Apart from Chin, you talk about Rohingyas. They used to inhabit this area, where a lot of Rohingyas have been expelled by the Myanmarese military. And apart from that, Mon people, you have then Rakhine people and Shan people. These make up the major ethnic composition of Myanmar. Now, obviously, the region that we are talking about is this one, and it is in this area where a military base has recently been captured by the rebel groups. Now, if we talk about the Chin National Front, the organization behind this entire development, it is considered as a nationalist political organization that has a history tracing back to 1988. It was on the 20th of March 1988 the group was formulated, and it also has armed wing. The group itself is a political organization, and the armed wing is called as CNA, that is Chin National Army, that fight against the current government, the military government of Myanmar. If you look at the aim and major objective of this group, so it want to create a federal union that is based on the self-determination, ethnic equality, and the principles of democracy. Till 2021 and preceding few years before that, we know that Myanmar wanted to institute a system of democracy under the leadership of Aung San Suu Kyi, but in the 2021, the military has overthrown and has arrested her and also all her supporters, as well as many of the members of the Democratic Party. So the Chin people are one of the four founding members. As you discussed, Myanmar is a heterogeneous country, but the main founding ethnic groups who constitute or who has formed the Union of Burma, as it was called as before, are Chin, Kachin, San, and Bamar. In 2021, CNF then became a member of the National Unity Consultative Council, that is a kind of alternate or shadow government council which is working continuously against the military junta. Now, interestingly, Chin people also have connection to India. How? Because in the state of Mizoram, we know that we have the Mizo people, Mizo tribe that resides. Then you have in the state of Manipur, in the southern part of Manipur, we are talking about the Kuki people are residing. So, Mizo people of Mizoram, Kuki people of Manipur, and the Chin people of Myanmar, these all people are also collectively referred as Jo people or Jo tribe, because they have a common culture, history, and also language. So in 1960, similarly we see on the both side of border, Chin Liberation Army was raised up in the Myanmar to unify the Chin inhabited areas of Myanmar to carve out a separate nation. And similarly, the Mizo National Front was something that was formed to fight for the Mizo independence, especially after the devastating effect of famine in 1960s among the on the Mizo people who were then part of the state of Assam. Now, several separatist groups are fighting the Indian government as well in northeastern India. For example, we have the Naga insurgent groups, that is NSCN, Naga Socialist Council of National Socialist Council of Nagaland. You have the ULFA, that is United Liberation Front of Assam. You have the JRA, that is the Jomi Revolutionary Army. So all these insurgent groups also have taken advantage of the internal disturbances that Myanmar has witnessed in past couple of years, and even before that they have always taken refuge in Myanmar, as the border between India and Myanmar is very porous, very easier to cross without any strong kind of, you can say, border or control as such. So several separatist groups have linked with the Myanmarese ethnic group as well. Now, the current situation to talk about is a progression of mission that was referred as Mission Jerusalem. And under the Mission Jerusalem, if you look at again the region, the Chin state that you're talking about, and in this area, the objective was to capture the town of Falam. The town of Falam is somewhere in the central part of this region, and it is very important from the perspective of military logistic, as it used to be a military base of the Myanmarese military. However, it has come at a heavy cost, because in this particular mission, Jerusalem itself, more than 50 Chin National Defense Forces and light fighters have lost their life just in the first 6 weeks of the war. Some were even buried alive because of the direct air strikes carried out by the Myanmarese military, especially by using the Chinese and Russian air, what you can call as the aircrafts. Now, the capturing of the Falam is very significant from the perspective of Chin National Defense Forces and its army, because first of all, psychologically it will have an impact, as it used to be a former capital of the state of Chin. So capturing of former capital will obviously send a very strong message. Now, apart from that, also it becomes significant from the perspective that upon being captured, it has become the first district center by the country's new rebel forces without support from established ethnic armies. That means the Chin forces themselves, without any external support, have been able to capture for the first time any district center. This is how the message, this is the kind of message that the Chin forces are trying to send here. The base is situated at the top of the hill, that is also why it is also called as besieged hill top base, with the CNDF supported by fighters from 15 newly framed armed groups, including from Myanmar's ethnic Bamar majority. About 600 rebels have besieged Falam. They aim to overthrow Myanmar's military regime entirely. Now, this is where the difference comes. In the Myanmar, in many part of Myanmar, actually different ethnic groups are protesting, revolting, and fighting against the military junta. However, their main objective is to free their region from the control of Myanmar's military. On the other hand, the Chin forces, the Chin National Defense Forces, they have much more broader objective. They want to overthrow the complete country. They want to overthrow the Myanmar's military regime entirely from the entire region of Myanmar. So that is why they are working and trying to get support of all other ethnic groups and armed groups. Seizing Falam independently would represent a new phase in Myanmar's revolution. Now, the genesis of uprising talk about, as we have discussed, the history of the Chin National Defense Forces and the Chin National Army and all these organizations go back to 80s and 90s. But the recent phase of uprising is something that we observed in the April 2021. In the month of April 2021, we know that before that, the Aung San Suu Kyi, who was leading a democratic government in Myanmar, people have voted for her, but military was not happy with the election results, and the military then overthrew the government of Aung San Suu Kyi and established a military rule in the Myanmar. So also against this, when the civilian protesters began to bring out a peace march, protest march, the peaceful protesters were shot and demonstrators then fought back, and in this tussle, what you can call was born as an uprising that has become steeped in blood and the lore of many martyrs. Now, in the April 2021, armed with the hunting rifles, in the beginning obviously they have very limited support, no weapons, artillery and all, the Chin launched the first significant battle of Myanmar's uprising in the Mindat town. Mindat town again is situated in the Chin area, and now this town has been completely liberated, and they have continuously then expanded upon. Currently, about 70% of the Chin state, if we talk about, is under the control of Chin National Defense Forces. Now, Other problem that also we are seeing is that during the revolt and movement, the Chin group itself is being divided. So two major groups has come who are representing the interest of Chin group, Chin people and the Chin state. One is called as CNF, Chin National Front, about which we have talked about, and other is called as Chin Brotherhood. The difference is largely on the basis of how the governance and the structure of government should be formed. CNF, we talk about, they favor a governance based on the dialect, and on the other hand, CB prefer the governing of township, where the division should be done not on the basis of dialect. So then because of this, several severe internal division was observed. Many times the group have clashed with each other as well. However, recently, due to the mediation of the meso groups, what we have observed is both of the CNF and CB have realized that it is better to come together, and they have decided to merge to form CNC, that is the Chin National Council. It will be a umbrella organization that will consist of both CNF and Chin Brotherhood, with a goal of uniting different armed groups under one military leadership and administration. Because obviously cohesiveness is required when we are talking about such kind of warfare against powerful Myanmar's military junta. Now from here, if talk about what do they see in the future, what these groups are looking forward to, so they believe that if you look at the ethnic minority groups that are scattered across different regions of Myanmar, in many of these ethnic minority groups, they are obviously fighting against the Myanmarese military. For example, to the south of Chin, in the Rakhine state, you have the Arakan army that also have taken control over a large part. So Rakhine, then you have the Chin, plus you have several other region as well. However, the biggest area, the largest area is under the control, or we can see is populated by the Bamar group and the National Unity Government that was formed after the ouster of Aung San Suu Kyi. Now, many of this group believe that the onus rests on this particular government, on this particular council, a kind of shadow government we can say, to bring all the democratic forces together to have a common struggle and fight against the Myanmar military. Ethnic areas are being liberated, as we have discussed before, while Bamar lands remain under the military control. I told you that the central and the eastern part of Myanmar is where the Bamar are largely residing. So this is the area which have not witnessed any significant fight, uprising and struggle against the Myanmar military. So the revolution's pace now depends on the Bamar people, how what you can say motivated they are and how successful they become in the future to put a joint front against the Myanmar military. So that will overall determine the outcome of Myanmar's politics in the next few years or even decade. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you got the idea behind what is going on in the Myanmar, what is the main objective of Chin National Defense Forces, and what are the recent development in the western coast of Myanmar, especially along with the border of India. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it with your fellow aspirants, as well as subscribe to our channel for more such content. Thank you.